Hello there, Catherine Bryant here from brilliantliving.hq.com, and today I want to talk to you about changeability. Changeability, what is it? Well, changeability is the ability to change, and this is something that we all need to have if we want to improve anything in our lives, change anything in our lives, get better at doing something, have more of something that we want. Changeability is the ability to change, the ability to make the changes we want. And why is it that we often find it so difficult? Well, we find it difficult because we're programmed like that. We're programmed so that our subconscious wants to always keep us safe, keep us in our comfort zone, keep us doing what we know how to act, and keep us living within the sort of beliefs we have about ourselves. But we can change. We can all change. And in this book, which is what I want to talk to you about today, which just happens to be my book, it's called Changeability, Manage Your Mind, Change Your Life. And it is a step-by-step mind management program to create the life or business that you want. And what I've done in this book is give you a template or a framework that you can follow to help you make those changes. And it's all based on the idea that we can manage our minds in such a way that it makes it much more likely that we're going to be able to do what we want to do and make the changes we want to do. So I just thought I'd take a few minutes to tell you about the book and why you might be interested in reading it. So the first quarter of the book actually is really about the theory that you need to understand in order to be able to do the rest of the book. So part one is really about the theory, but it's pretty straightforward. It's nothing too heavy. It's just some stuff about how our brains work, about the difference between our conscious mind and subconscious, what the different roles are, and how even though we decide something with our conscious mind, sometimes we can be totally undermined by our subconscious mind thinking it knows better. And as the subconscious mind is a lot more powerful than our conscious mind, it does rather have it's what helps make the decisions about what we do, helps us make our decisions sometimes without even realizing we're doing it. So one of the things that we need to do if we want to manage our minds and if we want to make changes in our life is to find ways of working with our subconscious to help us rather than hinder us in getting what we want. And that's really what the rest of the book is all about. So the second 3/4 of the book, which is part 2 of the book, is made up of 10 techniques or 10 steps for how to manage our minds to get the changes we want. And those changes could be big, life-changing things, or they could be quite small, but things that have an impact on you. So it could be that you want to change your job, for example, or you want to set up your own business. Maybe you want to improve your relationships or find a relationship, find a new partner. Now, all of us have things that hold us back from doing what we want to do. And the 10 steps in here are designed in a very practical way to help you overcome those barriers that might be in our way. So if I just very quickly give you a flavour of some of those steps, or of the steps that you go through and the techniques, you'll understand where I'm coming from and why you might want to read it. So the first step is all about realising and identifying what it is we want to change. It sounds so obvious, doesn't it? But lots of us don't do it. It's a sort of like vision setting or goal setting, but not in a boring sort of work-wise way, but in a way that's going to inspire you to then take the actions that you're going to take later in the book. So it's about being clear about what it is you want to change and what you want your life or your business or your relationship to look like after you've made those changes. And then we move on to step 2, which is about taking a step back and recognizing what might be holding you back from making those changes. What is it in the past that has got in your way? And very often you'll find that it's to do with the way we think about ourselves. It's to do with our self-beliefs. It's to do with the inner talk and dialogue that we all have in here. So we look at some ways of identifying what those are, so that in the next step, in step 3, you can do a little bit of work around releasing those limiting, unhelpful, disempowering thoughts that we all have. We all have, because we've all grown up, and you cannot get to be a grown up without building up these thoughts that we all have, and this little voice inside of us that says things like, oh, you're no good at that, or don't think you should be trying that now. So the next step, step 4, is all about how do we replace those disempowering thoughts with empowering, positive thoughts and beliefs about ourselves. And there is a very well known way of doing this, and that's through affirming how we want to be, through creating what are known as affirmations, which are really like empowering statements that we can use to gradually, over time, and sometimes it works quite quickly actually, but over time, change the way we think about things. And when you change the way you think about things, you change the actual things that you do and the actions you take. So that is affirmations. And then we move on to step 6. And step 6 is all about not looking forward like we have been doing with your vision and your goals and all of that stuff. This is about looking at where you are here and now in terms of all the fantastic, wonderful things you have in your life already to appreciate, be grateful for, be thankful for. And this is a very powerful mind management tool, because it's about realizing and appreciating what you've got now. It doesn't mean that you're totally, don't have any ambition or not or that you're totally satisfied, but it means that you are looking for all the positive things in your life, and once you start looking for them, you will notice more and more of them coming to you. So that leads on to number 7. Now number 7 is all about mindful meditation. And this has to be one of my favourites, and I'm not going to go into it very much because, there's a lot of books on meditation and what have you. But just to say that in this book, in my Changeability book, I teach you a very, very simple, basic way of learning to meditate in literally 10 minutes. You can do it. And it's something you can use every day, and it's an incredibly powerful tool. I mean, this is why big companies are using it to increase their employees' well-being, their sense of creativity, their focus. So I go into a lot more about the benefits and what have you in there, but definitely whether you buy this book or not, you definitely want to check out meditation because it's a fantastic tool. And then number 8, the technique which is number 8, which is really more of a tactic than a technique, is about taking action. So of course that's what you've been doing all the time, but even though you can get your mindset really in a good place with your clearing your disempowering thoughts, replacing them with empowering thoughts and beliefs, you're meditating, you're appreciating what you've got around you, you still have to take action. They are all action, but there are also ways in which you can take action towards your goals, towards what you want to change, so that you make it happen. And that's why, in a way, it is a mind management technique, because it's about finding a mechanism, finding a way to do it that's manageable and that will actually help you take action. So it's about getting a little plan and doing it in such a way that's going to invigorate you and empower you. So that's about taking action. And when you come to take your action, and of course it's action born out of all these other things that you've been doing, in step 9, the way to make your action even more effective is to find a way to be accountable to somebody. Could be in a public way or a private way, but accountability helps to differentiate those who succeed in what they want to do and those who just think it's a nice idea but never quite get round to doing it. So I urge you to find a way to be accountable and talk about that in step 9. And step 10, which is the last one, there's 2 parts to it. The first is about reflection, and that's about looking at what's working for you, what's not working, what you could do better, what you want to do more of. And this is the thing that most of us never bother doing. We sort of have a vague idea, but it is a very powerful tool if we use it right. So there's some checklists for you to work through to just give you a way of doing it in a systematic, having a systematic approach to it. And then the final part of step 10 is celebration, because that's something that most of us don't do enough of. Every time you achieve something, it's so good for us if we can celebrate it, even if it's in a very small way of rewarding yourself with something you like doing, an experience or something to drink or eat or going out for a walk or whatever it is that you like to do. And of course, if it's a big thing to celebrate, it deserves a big celebration. So we talk about ways of doing that. So that's basically the 10, I'm trying to get 10 fingers up, 10 steps that are outlined in the book. But not only do you have them in here, there is also a workbook of worksheets which accompanies the Changeability, Manage Your Mind, Change Your Life book. And you'll find in here the links to those, and they're free for you to download onto your computer so that you can work through all the steps in a systematic way and record your progress. And you'll find at the back of this book there is a keep in touch page which has all the ways you can keep in touch with me and all the information about the book. So you can come to the website at brilliantlivinghq.com. You can download your worksheets. There's a link to that from here. There's also obviously our Twitter and that sort of stuff. And very importantly also, we have a private Changeability Facebook group for people who have read the book or listened to the Changeability podcast, because there are lots of similarities between the two. So that's for people who want to, mix with other people who are interested in mind management and making changes in their life or being more productive, improving their business, whatever it is you want to do. That's a place that we would love to see you in. So you can come and join us there, and all the details are in here. And of course, the last thing I need to say is that Changeability, Manage Your Mind, Change Your Life is available on Amazon. So wherever you're listening to this in the world, you can find it there on Amazon. Hope you like it. Let me know what you think and speak to you soon. Bye.